I've got a question. If advertising is true with what they say, that sex sells, I want stroke to be sexy. So this might be a new concept to people, but I think it's actually a very simple solution. I'd just like to talk very briefly about myself having a stroke. But firstly, I'd like to ask you what you were doing in the year 2000. Can you remember back 11 years ago? Well, if you remember, there was the Y2K bug in 1999 and there was lots of changes, wasn't there? We were going to lose our financial systems, our computers. That didn't happen, luckily. But, you know, we were in a new millennium and there was lots of changes globally going along, lots of technology. And if you remember what happened in Australia in 2000, we had the Olympics. Wasn't that massive? It created such a buzz and people really got involved and it really changed the face of how Olympics have been run since. So we were actually, as a nation, going through, you know, dramatic changes at that time. And for me, in May 2000, at the end of May 2000, my life changed completely because I had a stroke. It was a really major stroke and I was paralysed all on the one side. I couldn't speak, couldn't do anything for myself. It's been a challenging journey since then. I've relearnt to talk, I've relearnt to walk, I've relearnt everything. But the point I want to make is that it brings me very much in line with my purpose in life. And it really gave me more passion, more commitment to communities and making social changes that are needed. And luckily for me, here I am today. So I would like to just say that I did a stint overseas for a few years and I've just got back around about a year ago and I decided I really wanted to spend more time helping in the field of stroke. And I thought, well, what else? What could I do? And it seems to be that we don't talk about it. Again, you know, we don't want to discuss it because it's not sexy, it's not an attractive topic, let's face it. I mean, you don't look attractive when it happens either. But, you know, we don't talk about these sorts of issues. And I thought, why? Why are we all behaving this way? Why don't we want to be more involved or create awareness or talk about these, you know? And then I started to look at statistics. So I thought to myself, well, maybe I should start sharing these so people have a better idea what's going on. So I'll just bring up some, if I can get this to work. Here we go. Some statistics that you might be shocked like I was when I first had a look at them. Here we go. 60,000 people annually in this country have a stroke. 1 in 6 will suffer a stroke in your lifetime. And as we keep ageing, of course, we've got more chances that this number will go up. My absolute shock was every 6 seconds someone dies in Australia from stroke. Every 6 seconds. Now, stroke doesn't discriminate. It happens to babies, it happens to the elderly, it happens to mums, dads, kids and families. And it will happen to us. People in this room will be touched by stroke at some time in your life. I just want to put it all in perspective for you. So, hoping that this is going to plan. Yep. The mortality rates in Australia. The first one's heart disease. Stroke is second biggest killer. You put those together and cardiovascular disease, which is stroke and heart, is our #1 biggest issue around health. And I thought, well, yeah, they must get lots of funding then. Does anyone want to yell out what you think the top 3 areas in which our government has funded over a number of years? Anyone got any idea? Yell it out. Breast cancer? Yeah. Thank you for that. I don't think I can repeat it. So, yeah, cancer, $2.5 billion. That was over a period of years. I can't tell you exactly where those figures, but I'm happy to do that later. The second thing was mental health, which I think is great. It's up there at #2 now. Here we go. Diabetes, 1.4 billion. Does anyone want to guess what number of stroke is down the list? 10? 13. I went, 13? Every 6 seconds someone dies. And I went, there's something really wrong here, because I'm looking at the information, it doesn't really seem equal to me. It's not, you know, I'm really about equality, and I think, well, if this is the way in which people are dying or suffering from disability, surely we must, you know, put more money into it. So I thought, this is huge. What could I possibly do to help? This is so big. So I decided I would come up with this idea, let's make stroke sexy. Now I thought, well, okay, I've got this great idea, but how am I going to do it? So I thought, well, I've worked in lots of communities and I've done, you know, lots of work working with individuals and groups and organisations. And my knowledge of communities and how they behave is probably what I'm good at. So how can I apply that to the issue of let's make stroke sexy and let's get communities involved? So I decided that I would put this picture up just to show you an analogy of what a community looks like. You have a bush with lots of flowers on it, and the flowers represent the people. The bush is the community. And notice how people gather in groups, don't they? Families, friends. But when you start looking at the groups, they're still all connected to the one big community. So if you look at the individuals on our flowers, there's big ones, little ones, purple ones, pink ones, blue ones, big one, you know, big ones, tall, short. So every single individual flower is different, as each person is different. And each group is a micro-community within a community, and they're all different, but we're all connected. So this is how communities work. I started to look at the behaviours of communities and what they do. So as far as I'm concerned, these are a sort of basic ways communities behave globally. These are things you can guarantee behaviours of communities. One is people have ideas. Communities have ideas. So that's how I'm here today, sharing my idea, and this is why we're all here today. And the second thing they do is they want to share them with people. So we talk. And that's not what's happening in stroke, but we need to talk and share our ideas. And the other things that they do is they like to come together in groups, and here we are today in a group. Now, what happens after that is people start to gel. So people of like-mindedness or goals will form smaller groups, and then you want to share some goals or ways to move forward about a certain issue or plan. And the most important thing is to believe that what you're doing will make some really positive social change or a community change. So the other thing that communities then do, which is very important, is take action. And I was so amazed what happened in Greece recently, is that the community banded together, not first of all having ideas on how they can make the situation better. They obviously didn't feel they had any other direction to go in. So they formulated some goals, they grouped together, they started snowballing the process. Groups got bigger and bigger until the nation decided this is the goal that we want, this is our vision for our country. And you took action, they demonstrated, and they created change. Now, the other way that communities might behave is that they go to war. But they feel that's the only direction for them to do that. So, you know, communities do it peacefully, as in large communities, or they go to war. So what it does is create positive change. So I'm here to pitch an idea. Let's make stroke sexy, because I believe we actually can make a difference. I really think we could create change. And I think it's really simple. I don't think it has to be difficult. And what I want it to be, so you might think it's a crazy idea, but I think it actually, you know, is something that we need to really look at and take on board as a community. And I'd like, you know, stroke to be sexy, and I'd like you to join the campaign. So today I'm launching Let's Make Stroke Sexy campaign, which is an awareness prevention campaign. And I want this to be community run. I want it to be driven from the grassroots level. And I'm hoping you will join me in this. So I ask you, let's make stroke sexy. We are going to go on a journey obviously over time with this, and it will be using your ideas, and we want the person's ideas them to actually run whatever those actions or what you want to do about it. The most simplest thing you can do at the moment, it's just a campaign to raise awareness, is to go onto the Facebook site I've set up, which is called Let's Make Stroke Sexy. I want you to interact with the site, give me ideas, spread the news, like me, share it, and let's really start a social revolution, because I really believe that we can make change. So if it's true what they say in advertising, that sex sells, I reckon stroke's pretty sexy. Thank you.